Hey, Jesse.
Hello, Lindsay. How was that?
And Cindy.
Hey, Cindy. We got another guest in the house.
Yes. This is my bestest friend from, I have 3 best friends. This is my 19-year best friend. We met at my still place of work 19 years ago.
19 years ago.
We bonded because, so we were trying to get some silverware to roll. And all the other bitches were being stingy about it.
Were you listening to Limp Bizkit while you were rolling? Or not?
Might have been. I don't know. It was probably more like fucking Paul Wall's grills in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see your grill. So the manager that was on that day was like, well, hey, if y'all go help out in the dish pit for like 20 minutes, I'll excuse you from silverware and give you a piece of Coca-Cola cake.
So y'all were rocking in the pit.
Yeah, we were rocking it. We put on the plastic aprons.
Everything.
And we were both like, oh my God, we're so gross. We got to go home and boil ourselves. And yeah, and then we've literally been best friends ever
since. I used to do
since.
dish for food. Yeah. And oh man, dish was just nuts. And I would sling shit. I would go wide open.
We were soaked.
I was moshing in the dish pit.
It was definitely gross.
It was so gross.
But it was well worth it.
Yeah, we got that chocolate cake at the end, man. And we didn't have to roll silverware.
Exactly.
And a whole friendship.
Ever.
Yes.
So y'all were listening to Limp Bizkit. Y'all were keep rolling.
Yeah.
And then you did it all for the cookie.
We did.
The cake cookie, I'll say.
For the cake.
It's all Limp Bizkit references to me. I mean, that's just where I'm going here, I guess.
But we went through many walks of life.
Together.
Yes. Marriages, divorces. We lived together with 6 kids.
So
that was an adventure.
Y'all have done seen a many of me come and go. Not a many.
No, not many.
Just a couple.
Yeah. Y'all have seen the shittiest parts of the dudes come in and out.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Talked each other through it.
And you helped each other out. That's great.
Raised our kids together, basically.
Yeah. There's some shittiness that I own up to myself, so. But I'm glad you guys are still together.
We all go through shit.
Yeah, because, there's some women be doing some conniving, too. Sometimes.
Oh, yeah. We've literally did cases about it, and there's going to be one in here.
For sure. Women be doing the work.
Yes. So are you going
She doesn't like it when I say that.
Wrong women be doing the work.
I know. Yeah.
Real women be doing the real work,
exactly.
and then there's other women.
Well, I'm glad you're here, Cindy.
Yes.
Me too.
We talked about you a couple of pods ago, and we were like, we want to get Cindy over here. We had to have a Cindy day. Didn't I say that?
Yep.
And here I am.
There she
Here
be.
she is.
Yay! I'm so excited. Like I'm just like she's here. And I'm happy about it. That's great. And I got buttons I can push. But anyhow.
So do you know what we're going to be drinking about today?
No, when you
I haven't even asked you. What are you drinking, Jesse?
You're off kilter there,
I am. My bestie's here, man.
I know.
And I got another one on the way. So, yeah.
You are.
JoJo's coming.
Oh, sweet.
We're having a slumber party tonight.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I forgot my PJs.
Me too.
I'm going to have to wear y'all's. Yeah.
We'll all be
I got some 90s you want to wear.
I do.
Yep.
I want to wear muumuus. I'm old enough now.
I do own muumuus.
Yeah.
I saw a TikTok today. It was a girls' drink night. They had muumuus and margaritas.
I'm down.
I was like,
I don't even got to go buy an outfit. I already own it.
Hell yeah.
Same.
I know I won't be invited, but, hey, it's all good.
As long as you wear a muumuu, it's cool.
No, I'm not invited. I'm not part of the
Muumuu and a margarita.
I'm definitely
You
down.
can be the bartender.
Ooh.
Bartender.
So I'm drinking St. Augustine Florida Straight Bourbon. It's the only bonded bourbon in Florida. And it is amazing.
Not sponsored. St. Augustine Distillery, sponsor us.
Yeah, and so is Hal Patters, because I love Hal Patters.
Yeah.
But St. Augustine Distillery, when Hal Patters gets their bourbon, I swear to God, I'm probably going to love it. Mm-hmm. I swear to God.
Most definitely.
But then that's local.
Yes.
Yeah. And they got liquor now, yeah. Hal Patters, yeah. It's awesome. It's really cool. It's really, really good. But this is my favorite bourbon, though, in the whole wide world. And it's on the rocks. And I've tried some Whistle Pig that Lindsay bought me that was like $200 a bottle. And
They don't compare?
well, this is phenomenal. Dun, 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 dun. Phenomenal. Dun, 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 dun. So like, yeah, so that's what I'm drinking. And what are you drinking over there, Lindsay?
So I made a concoction with some of that pineapple rum that you bought last week with Pineapple Vista Bay. So So I got a rattle cup today.
You rattle cup, man.
I got the place that I work at cup that I got at a Christmas party.
You got it down one platform, one and one quota down.
Yes.
Yes. And Miss Cindy, what are you drinking over there? Tell us.
Plain old boring pink lemonade.
Hey, pink lemonade is the shit. Is it country time?
No, it's the Minute Maid out of the can.
I was gonna say, is it great value? Because that's the tits too.
It's a great value out of a soda pop can.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Well, as long as you're drinking and you're, enjoying her horrific ass story, and I'm sure that you're going to dump something on us real bad. But go ahead with your other little bit here. Come on.
Yeah. So today we're drinking about Colleen Stan.
Yeah. What about the old thing? I want to do the old thing.
Oh yeah. Well, did you want to cue the intro song?
Not yet.
Okay. What made you feel old this week?
I've been wearing glasses since 3rd grade. Mm-hmm. And now I wear contacts. Mm-hmm. And that makes me feel a little bit younger, but at the same time, now the small print is making me feel old.
So you're squinty.
The fine print.
I can't. Do you know what I do? I take a picture of it with my phone and blow it up.
Really? So you're there too?
I'm there too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we're old.
We're
And
squinty.
I think I'm the oldest here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I am.
A couple years.
And I have to have
You
glasses.
44 or 45?
I'll be 45 this year.
Okay.
Oh, real
And
blue
I-
rasher on a 45. Everybody loves a bosom for a pillow. Everybody loves a bosom. Real rasher on a 45.
Yeah.
That's what made me feel old, though. I can't see shit.
I have
like up close.
contacts. I have contacts and still have to wear glasses on the computer.
Oh.
So I'm.
I think it's the computers that got us. Because we do
Maybe.
a lot of computer work between you and I. We're
I
like
sit on the computer
all day, so all the fine print's going away. Yeah.
Yeah, I
What
mean,
about you?
I have to look at a
Over there.
tablet a lot at work, and then I look at
You
my
do.
phone, and now a tablet at home a lot, typing up this shit for these cases. But
What's yours?
huh?
What's your make you feel old?
So it's my left knee again this week.
It's
Yeah.
my left knee.
It's my left knee. My left knee hates me.
My name's Lindsay, and I have a bad left knee.
Well, for years, I mean, both of you guys know that I was in a terrible abusive relationship years ago, and my right knee was injured in that relationship, and it doesn't hurt me at all now. But my left knee, that was perfectly fine, hurts all the time.
Well, I'm not going to be an asshole and mule kick you in the other knee. And make
Please
it better,
don't.
you know?
Maybe it'll correct it.
It's not a risk I'm willing to take there,
Yeah,
Lindsay.
so the workouts that I was doing this week required a lot of lunges and squats, and my left knee, like, I was trying to dance around the house and do the Angus Young thing with Silas earlier.
You know, that takes some damn
Oh
skill,
my
dude. Angus is
God.
like 70. And he's rocking on tour right
I
now
did-
and
I did
doing that
like-
shit every night.
I did like 2 of the Angus Young, whatever you want to call it, gallops.
That's a duck
And-
walk.
Duck walk, excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay, duck
Thank
walk.
you, Chuck Berry, for bringing that to Angus
Yeah.
Young. Yeah.
And I did like 2 across the kitchen. I'm like, all right, I'm old. And Silas is like, Angus Young is old. He's older than you. And I'm like, well, he's been doing it his whole life.
Yeah. He's almost as
No
old as us put
comparison.
together. Jesus.
Yeah, and he's a little teeny tiny man.
Yeah.
He's littler than me.
He is. He is. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put it on Cindy now. It's your turn. What made you feel old this week, Miss Cindy?
Recovering from a hysterectomy.
Okay.
Oh.
She wins.
You do. You do, because I'll never get one of those.
Yeah. I'm in the uterus.
I would like to have one.
Club.
I would like to have one, but at the same time, I'm like, maybe I don't. I don't know. So,
So you just got...
It's actually, hopefully it's worth it because like
Okay.
I'll be
And you're about a month post op?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Okay.
Is that when you get kicked out of the Mormon religion?
Might be.
Yeah.
I was never in it, so couldn't tell you.
It's just, that's your only way out. Is like... I think that is I think that's how you get out of the Mormon religion. You just get a hysterectomy. Yeah.
And you're like, out.
Out.
You can. You know what?
Peace.
If we were in the Handmaid's Tale shit, she would have to go to the colony.
She's gone
I
to the
would have to go to
colony.
the colonies.
Or be a
Or the
Martha.
brothel.
Oh yeah.
I could be a Jezebel.
Yeah, you wouldn't get pregnant.
They wouldn't have to worry
At
about
all.
it.
I mean, I couldn't either because my tubes are tied. So we would either be Jezebels, Marthas, or colony bitches. Yeah.
Y'all some Aunt
Die from-
Lydias. I can tell it from
We
here.
would be Marthas.
We would be-
With
yeah.
our
You see the
making
look
and
on
our
Lindsay's
cooking,
face?
Yeah.
We'd be Marthas.
Yeah, no.
Did you see my face? I'm like,
I'm giving you Aunt Lydia's. all
Aunt
day.
Lydia's trying to turn it around this season.
Well, she
I don't
knows she
know.
done messed up. I mean,
I don't know.
She keeps
She has
feeling
brought
the
me.
remorse.
She has
you know?
brought me up before and let me down. Same as Serena Joy.
All three of us love Handmaid's Tale so much.
Yeah.
It is really our
I-
jive for real.
Literally just messaged Lindsay like last week and was like, why are they only posting one a week? Like, this is not fair.
It's not.
Cliffhangers every fucking move.
And me and Jesse have rewatched it 3 times in anticipation of this season.
We had a party one time and it didn't even happen for like another year.
Yeah.
Lindsay,
I know.
I got a shirt for that.
I did too. It's in my drawer right now.
We get dressed up for Handmaid's Tale over here. We love it so much. But tell us
Love
about
you, Elizabeth Moss.
Yes, tell us about the story that you're fixing to dump.
All right, so today we are going to be talking about Colleen Stan, which is also known as the girl in the box. Yeah.
What?
Yep.
You're not going to do this kind of shit now.
Like-
Oh, I am.
Like, what kind of box?
Oh, I'm going to tell you.
We don't get to know. See, that's where I just don't even ask. But at the same time, it's like I don't know about this bullshit right here. So I'm gonna let you guys fly with it. So here we go. And I want to say,
Happy Friday.
yeah. But a box? I'm the girl in the box.
Oh, God.
Wow, 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 wow. Buried in Lindsay's shit. This isn't fair.
It's not.
You know,
so sorry.
while we were doing sound check, we were just so hung on Righteous Gemstone. Mm-hmm. And we went back to an old 70s song. And we've been singing it. And I did it like 3 times a day. And she actually sent it to me. Lindsay sent it to me. And I was like, that's the song I've been singing all day.
Well, the Righteous Gemstones, like, it's the Danny McBride production, and he's a genius, and all the music in that show is fucking amazing. And he featured The Who.
But it's so Appalachia to me. That's DNA.
That episode was deep Appalachian bullshit right there.
California.
Cindy has no idea what we're talking about,
She
but she's
doesn't.
going to watch it.
No,
She's
I
got to
haven't
watch it
watched
now.
it yet.
It's
We're gonna get you
so
hooked.
funny.
We're going to get you hooked.
If you are new here, what we do is we talk about true crime and we drink and we plug a band at the end that we're digging and we think that you should listen to as well.
Sometimes I don't drink enough because they're
I don't
bad.
know.
The stories are so bad.
I don't know.
You haven't seen me super slushed yet.
Through Ken and Barbie, you were just like, the second part, you were,
I puddled. I was quiet.
he was just like this.
I was the girl in the box for
Oh,
Ken and
gosh.
Barbie.
You don't want to say that. I promise.
Okay.
All right. So in this case, we're going to go back to the 70s where people were hitchhiking to get place to place. And yes, this was dangerous, but so many were doing it. And a lot of serial killers were using this ploy to get their victims. But we're not going to talk about a serial killer today, but it's a doozy case nonetheless. So Colleen Martin Stan was born December 31st, New Year's Eve,
Wow.
1956 in Eugene, Oregon.
Pick up stick.
Is it Oregon or Oregon?
Oregon, man.
It's just
we
Oregon.
played Oregon
Oregon.
Trail
I
growing
know,
up.
and I said Oregon back then.
You said Oregon?
It's Oregon.
Were you folding paper doing origami?
Or
What the hell?
So anyway, so Oregon. She was born in Eugene, Oregon to Jack and Evelyn Martin, and she had 2 younger sisters, and they grew up in Riverside, California.
Okay.
Colleen was very intelligent and a poet, but she didn't really do that well in school. She didn't fit in that box that our educational system wants everybody to fit in, you know, because it doesn't always work out. I myself didn't fit in,
I didn't either.
and
either.
yeah, none of my children did either. So she quit school at 16 and married her boyfriend very young. And that marriage only lasted about a year, and she moved back home. She met and befriended a couple in Oregon who had a kid and became very close with this family and moved in with them. On May 19th, 1977, she told the couple, Bob and I don't know if it was Alice or Allison. I've heard both. So I'm going to go by Alice. She told Bob and Alice that she wanted to go visit California to surprise her friend, that she wanted to in California. Okay. She wanted to visit her friend Linda for her birthday and surprise her. Linda had no idea she was coming. So Bob and Allison would drive her part of the way there, and then she would hitchhike the remainder of the trip. She felt that she was a good judge upon who she would accept rides from. She'd done this several times before. So they set out on a Thursday, and she planned to be back by Saturday.
So she's hitching down to California.
Well,
basically.
Bob and Allison are going to take her part of the way there. I think it was like, I want to say a 6-hour drive to where she was going.
From Oregon to California?
From Oregon. Yeah.
Okay.
She was going to, I want to say Westwood. I'll get there in a minute. But so she planned to be back on Saturday, but she did not return on Saturday. So Allison thought that maybe she extended her trip longer. And after a few days, she decided to call Colleen's mother, but Colleen's mother had not seen nor heard from her. So Allison calls the police to track down the friend that she was supposed to be visiting, and Linda had not heard from her either. So where the fuck was Colleen? On that Thursday, when she set out on her journey after Bob and Allison had dropped her off, she would take 2 additional rides and was about 100 miles away from Westwood. Yeah, Westwood, California, which is where her destination was. So one guy in a Porsche,
wait a minute. Didn't they have the Westwood TV show that we were watching one time?
Westworld.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Westworld.
Did y'all watch any of that?
You want our audience to answer back?
I mean, yes, I'm talking about the other... I'm talking with Lindsay and Cindy.
I think so. That's where it's like the old. They were supposed
the
to be like
robots.
But it was like a fake Western city.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the robots, they started
was
to
really
weird.
cool.
Yeah.
They started to get intelligent and fight back.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the new AI robots and stuff they're doing now. Oh my God, they almost like have that intelligence now. Goodness gracious. Anyhow, keep on cracking. I'm sorry.
So the Thursday that Colleen set out on her journey after Bob and Allison had dropped her off, she would take 2 additional rides and was about 100 miles away from her destination. And one ride was from a guy in a Porsche, and he only took her about 17 miles. And the other one was 2 truck drivers, of which one would actually try to make out with her. But she pushed him off, and he actually later apologized. She turned down a few more rides because they didn't pass the vibe check. And then a young couple with a baby pulled up and offered her a ride.
Oh, how sweet.
So Colleen was 20 at the time, and the couple seemed about the same age, and they had a baby. So,
all the green flags.
The green flags were up at the time.
Yeah, why not?
So she accepted this ride. They made small talk, and Colleen told them that she was surprising her friend for her birthday. And the man that was driving the car, he was like, "She doesn't know you're coming?" And Colleen was like, "No." So then Colleen started to get a little worried because this guy started asking her more and more personal questions and kept looking at her through the rearview mirror. But she tried to
calm herself down.
Yeah, calm herself down. So even though she got that weird feeling, she pushed it out of her mind because she was almost there. She was almost there. They stopped at a gas station, and she actually thought about jumping out the window at the gas station.
That much of a vibe drop.
That much of a vibe check, and abandoning the couple completely. But she was like, I'm going to just keep pushing on through it. Do not ignore your gut feelings, people. Don't do it.
Yeah, and in that situation, like you always say...
it was a man, a woman, and a baby. So,
and this is the 70s,
this
right?
is the 70s.
And you always say that there was a lot of fucked up shit happening in the 70s.
Like, I used to want to live in the 70s until I started listening to true crime. I no longer ever want, I don't want nothing to do with the 70s except the music part. That's it. The music of the 70s is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But everything else, the cults, the serial killers, the sadistic shit that was going on in the 70s is wild.
They were really...
A lot of our cases in the future will be in the 70s, yeah.
Because, like, the world was changing, and there were so many people...
Post-Vietnam.
Yeah, and there were so many people so used to being so charismatic, and they would jump on whatever they felt. It was all a lot of emotion, and it led them astray a lot of ways.
So much astray.
Yeah, Jim Jones.
That'll be coming up soon. Don't drink that Kool-Aid. Yeah.
I'm going to drink this bourbon. Can I do that?
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and take a sip
Because
of
I
mine
think you're fixing to drop shit a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to happen quick in this one. Sorry,
Goodness
guys.
gracious.
So the driver, the man of the couple, asked her if she minded taking a quick detour to check out an ice cave that was in the area. And Colleen, not thinking she was in any position to say no, she agreed.
So we went to an ice cave one time.
Mm-hmm. We went to a couple of them.
The sure enough ice cave we went to in New Mexico. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah. So I had to use their little outhouse toilet when you go to pay your entry to go do the tour. It was an inactive volcano, right?
Yeah, the Brennendetta. So, like, out of the volcano, the lava flows made the tubes and all, and the tubes get so cold all year round that the water was frozen underneath there. That was really cool.
Well, when I went to use the bathroom, the air that came up
was cold.
So, I mean, like, I don't think I've ever felt anything that cold in my life.
On the hoo-ha.
Yeah, it was like sitting on ice completely to use the bathroom.
People pay a lot of money for that stuff to go have their whole hoo-ha regenerated.
I know. Yeah. Maybe I need to do that more often.
We're going back because I need to go and drop the old tea bag over there on the cold air. I'll be sitting there singing Phil Collins the whole time. Y'all, okay.
So after a while of driving on the main highway, the man stops. He gets in the back seat with Colleen, pulls a knife on her, and tells her to put her hands in the air. Then he handcuffs, gags, and blindfolds her. And there was this wooden box that had been sitting in the car with her the whole time, and she thought nothing of it. And he puts this box on her head.
What?
Huh?
It was padded on the inside so she could not hear. And then they made her lay down. So you would think that the baby's in the back seat, but no. The woman of the couple, I'm about to introduce them here in a second. She was holding the baby in her lap in the front seat because it was the 70s and, safety wasn't a thing. So real quick, my other bestie, JoJo, showed up. Say hey.
Hey. Yes.
She's going to join us for the rest of this story.
This is a slumber party.
So
now.
I got my two besties here.
Yeah. And we're all breaking out moo-moos later, and I'm going to serve drinks. And we're going to watch Mean Girls.
Yes. Absolutely. Listen, in a perfect world, that would be happening tonight. But unfortunately, JoJo has to be at work before the crack of dawn. And so do you.
I do have to work tomorrow.
Yes.
So that's okay. St. Augustine's got me over here with the bourbon. They got me.
JoJo, what are you drinking?
I am drinking watermelon neutral.
Hell yes. She's a seltzer girl like me.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
All right. So who were these people? So the man was 23-year-old Cameron Hooker. And yes,
What?
their last name was Hooker.
All right.
And the girl was his wife, 19-year-old Janice Hooker. Janice and Cameron had met when she was 15 and he was 19. And she wasn't what you would call a looker.
She wasn't a looker hooker?
She had very low self-esteem. So perfect for being groomed by an older male who would love bomb her and make her feel special.
Well, that's awesome.
So Cameron
just puts a box over her head.
Well, Janice is the wife. Colleen is our victim now.
So here comes the story of him teaching her these ways and her being okay with it.
We're wrapping up our couples series. So this is going to be the last part of our couple series for a while. Because there's many more to come in the future, but yeah.
Yeah.
But we're going to move on to something else after this one.
Yeah, because I want something. I mean, this is going to be nasty. I know it. Goodness, Lindsay.
But it's only a one-parter, so at least I can tie it up in a bow for you in one part. I don't know if you want to call it a bow, but...
No, a hook or not.
A hook or not.
Wow.
So Cameron, he was a mill worker when they had met, and Janice, she was still in school because she was only 15. Janice was the youngest of 4 kids and didn't get a lot of attention at home. And she also had epilepsy, and her father, he called her epilepsy possession by demons.
And then that's so old school. Actually, just to have that mentality and thought, so 70s.
Yeah, that's so typical for back then.
70s,
Yeah, everybody was just of the devil.
It's the demon inside.
Devil.
They made a lot of cool movies back then, though.
Yeah, they did.
Really had some crazy ass beliefs like this shit was real.
Fuck, like Carrie The Exorcist.
Yeah,
those are two of my favorite fucking movies.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, that's our son's favorite. Yeah. He was literally dressed up as Leatherface this morning, and then he changed to Angus Young.
It's like a daily thing for Silas, though.
It is a daily thing for Silas. Absolutely.
He lives that life. Like he is the most animated and frustrating human being in my life.
Yeah, you love the creativity.
I love it.
And that, but at the same time, like it's like, all right. Like earlier today, he made me record him while he was doing his Angus Young thing in 3 different outfits.
I saw your snap.
Yes.
I was like, yeah.
He's like, all right, wait. Now. Let me go change again. And then he comes back out. All right, now record me. Oh, wait. I forgot to put on my new Chucks. Record me again.
Yes, it's so Silas.
I came home and he has his whole ass fort built. And I want to get in there with him, but he smells like feet and fart. So I'm like, I'm not getting there, bro.
He's a young boy.
He did. He's like, I only farted 30 times in there. Yeah.
And he invited me like 30 times.
Yes. Come on, Dad. Come in the fort.
Yep. Yeah, here's another one.
All right. So Cameron, he came from a family that moved around a lot. He had a younger brother named Dexter.
A Dexter Hooker. Ooh, I'm going to wrap him up in cellophane.
Mr. Cellophane. Yeah. And they didn't have a lot of friends because they never stayed in one place for very long. Other than that, there's no reports of real abuse in his home. So usually there is. Usually I give you this backstory of this horrific childhood. With Cameron Hooker, there's not one.
So I don't get to go to the typical thing that we've been going to. Wow.
There's no salad. Yeah, there's yeah. So the family would finally settle in Red Bluff, California when Cameron was 16, and this is where they would remain.
In California.
We're stuck on the Righteous Gemstones songs. Yeah. So as he started to explore his sexual preferences, he found out that he liked the BDSM type. Yes.
So there's where it comes into play. He likes to play too much the wrong way.
Right. And I don't want to put a bad stigma on this because there's a lot of people who enjoy this, and as long as everyone involved is consenting.
But as
long as it's safe.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And I heard the greatest quote this week. I don't want to put a yuck on anyone's yum, but you have to have it's got to be enjoyed by both parties. It's got to be enjoyed by everybody involved.
It's yum all around.
Yeah.
I don't want to put a yuck on anyone's yum.
Yes, I love that. I was like, that's perfect.
Yeah. I feel like I'm in a hen house here. This is wild.
You are. Cluck, cluck, cluck. So unfortunately, these last few cases have put a bad name on that because we have almost the last 2 guys have enjoyed the same lifestyle. Because of the way that they would carry out their desires.
Yeah, we understand the trends, and once you brought that out, there's the whole salad, right? Yeah.
And these guys did not want consent, and they like inflicting pain on unwilling participants, and that's where there's a difference. So when Cameron would express his desire for bondage to Janice, she says she's not that into it. For fuck's sake, she was only 15. When they got married.
She didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah,
exactly. She didn't know what
she's like, I'm sorry, what? Yeah. At 15, I wasn't long from playing with dolls. But he would continue to bring it up and groom her into it and say that if she didn't like it, it's not going to work out. And Janice didn't want to lose him. So she let him begin carrying out his fantasies. Cameron would take her into the woods and hang her on trees by her wrists.
What?
Yeah. With homemade handcuffs. Take pictures of this. And he would whip her. And then he would even dunk her underwater almost to the point of drowning.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's the first I've heard of that so far. Like drowning? Like honestly, how does that get you off?
The power. I mean, you're just, you got this whole...
You nailed it. Yeah, that's probably it.
It's all about power.
Yeah, you got it over them.
So
I can take your life at any moment, and I'm going to go to it.
Yeah, I'm going to barf. Well, when the torture would be over, he would soothe her and pet her and be all loving, your typical bullshit that an abuser does.
Well, that's the bring down after he got his rocks off.
Right.
Exactly.
The false security.
Yeah.
They end up getting married. And Janice starts to hate the bondage and the pain-inflicting sex, and she really wanted a baby. And I mean, That's young.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. Like people in the 70s at like 15 and 16, they were already 30. It's insane to me. So Cameron decides to make a bargain. He says, I'll give you a baby if you let me have a sex slave. He had been obsessed with these underground porno magazines that talked about this type of thing, and he really wanted to have a sex slave for himself. And Janice agrees.
You heft on high. Just bringing down all the demons.
All the demons.
That is horrible, though.
But
I think, that probably wasn't Hugh Hefner.
no.
Playboys. No. That was Hustler.
No, these were like a whole different, this was an underground shit that you could not, this was not Playboy and Hustler status. This was
some.
They had underground back in the
level.
70s?
That's like
Underground.
way underground.
Yeah.
our black web
Right.
nowadays.
That wasn't Larry Flint. To have
exactly.
nothing to do with none of that.
That was not Larry Flint nor Hugh Hef had anything to do with this. Now he did have all that in his collection, but
that wasn't
these
good
were
enough. That
these
wasn't
were
good
like
enough for his ass.
these were a lot of them were like French type, like it was next level, and I'll get more into it
The
here in a
whole
minute.
S&M type shit,
Right.
The whole dirt. Goodness.
But she did not want him to have penetrative sex with the slave. He could do whatever else he wanted, but he had to swear that he was not going to have penetrative sex with her. He could whip her, do all the bondage shit, whatever.
No burglary.
Right. So they start the prowl.
Oh, buggery. That's what it is.
Buggery.
Yeah.
So they start, well, that's penetrative.
Yeah, you can't do no
She
buggering.
did not want any of that. She said that he could whip her, do the whole, anything, all the other BDSM type things without the sex.
Which is just like another human being that you just beat the shit out of.
Right. Exactly. So they start the prowl while Janice first is pregnant. And then they keep going on later after she has the baby. And then they find Colleen.
And I don't even see a spot where she could have got out other than trying to win him over. Obviously she was infatuated with him.
It's all
There
she
was
knew.
no- There was
yeah.
no spot where she could be like, I'm going to overcome this and get the hell out.
Well, at
Just-
that young, and that being her first love,
Only influence.
she didn't know any better.
70s,
Yeah. And in the 70s, and her dad,
Nobody
thought
talked
she
about
was a
shit
demon. Right.
in
Her
the
dad
70s.
thought she was a
The
demon.
Women barely even knew how to go through their menstrual cycle in the 70s.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And whether long, a woman didn't sit down and say, this is what dudes do. This is your life. This is what you don't let happen. You need to run from this.
At the same time, there were people who would say, you're married now. You got
Let
to
him
deal
do
with
whatever
it.
the hell he wants
Exactly.
to. You better shut up and
Yeah.
get your ass back in the kitchen.
Yes.
That basically, that's
that's-
so horrible,
That's when women were just starting to feel empowered and come out about things.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's a whole other dynamic.
women were fighting for their rights to vote and work and shit like that,
Yeah.
but they weren't. This part of it was not
Right.
a thing yet.
I completely, I'm just elaborating on what I completely already understand, but the mentality was just horrible by the parents to just not teach your kids common ass human thing for them to be around something pleasant in life,
Well, their parents were probably raised up
Exactly.
That
Yep.
oppressed, that just
Exactly.
You just
old
went
school.
along.
I'm sure they had even worse
Even
beliefs
worse,
than
so
what
it's-
they taught their children.
50s,
Yeah.
60s, 40s, 50s,
Yeah.
60s,
I'm glad we have broken that generational curse in this era.
I don't think it'll ever come
Amen.
back either. I think
No.
I think
Cheers to
that
that.
women, period, and I'm proud of that too because
Yeah.
that was just horrible, Because I've always looked at everybody as equals, no matter who you are, what color, whatever, and just to have that equal playing field for that reciprocating everything, it's always teamwork, and that's just so horrible that they let the women just exist and go along
accept
with it.
accept whatever
And you had no
they
choice.
had.
Yeah.
Whatever came
All the
along
way
with
up
the
until
husband.
I probably think about the mid '80s, it was more like that.
I want to say actually the mid 90s.
Yeah, it may have been.
Honestly, when
I'll give it a hard 89. We'll give it a hard.
what was that? When I
'cause-
left my ex-husband the first time, unfortunately, I gave him a few chances. My grandmother, this was in early 2000s, even was like, well,
Well, you're taking that Southern perspective. I'm talking
Yeah.
about nationally as United States like a national group of
and she still
the
had.
collective,
I mean,
a
she
national
was.
group of women,
what was
you know?
what was the 20s?
Horrible for women, but
Well, I mean,
they
like
were
she was
really-
born in that era, so that was pre-boomer. So she
just-
had like
hadn't been long wearing pants then.
Yeah.
You know? It's like-
right, yeah. She had that really old school way of thinking,
Yeah.
and her husband unfortunately treated her really terribly, and
They just
So,
went
yeah,
along
just-
with
yep.
it, and you couldn't do anything because you'd have to, hide bruises from then on, I guess. That's so fucking horrible.
it is.
I'm adding horrible on the horrible, and I'm going to shut up now because I'll just keep
Yeah, because I got
adding
like 3
horrible.
pages to get through.
All right, I'm sorry.
Hear the rest of the
Yeah, because
story.
there's 4 of us here, and I'm over here
Mm-hmm.
just. But I get stuck on thinking about how just horrific it really was, and what women already had to go through to begin with.
And then that
really
on top
sad.
of it,
That on
yeah.
top of it is sad.
Now he had already prepared the box and the basement for torture. I mean, he was ready. So they get Colleen home after first stopping for dinner. And Cameron takes Colleen down to the basement and hangs her from the ceiling by her wrists, strips her naked, and begins to whip her and sexually assault her. Not penetrative, but
Groping,
everything
touching,
else.
doing
Yeah.
that nastiness. Son of a bitch.
So she ends up blacking out from pain from the whipping and the torture that this is the first night, okay? And when she wakes up or comes to, Cameron and Janice are having sex underneath her
Oh my god.
as she's dangling from the fucking ceiling. Yeah.
Lindsay,
Yeah.
you ain't allowed to talk like that. We got company.
They are not new to true crime at all, I promise you.
No.
Women are so fucking hard on this stuff. Like, it puddles me so much. And y'all were just like, oh, this is rough, but ain't nothing I ain't fucking heard. I ain't never heard no shit like this, Lindsay.
So when they finish, Cameron takes Colleen down from the ceiling and puts her in another box for her body, like a coffin. It has shackles for her hands and her feet, places the head box back on as well. And she begs and pleads, like, I can't breathe. So he puts something on her chest to make it even harder to breathe.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And he puts a bedpan in there so she can use the bathroom. In the box.
I would have done that shit on myself. I'd have been like, I'm going to be the nastiest play toy you ever had, dude.
I don't think he cared. Because we'll get into it. So
honestly, though,
Clearly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he didn't
he
care.
wouldn't have gave
Yeah.
a damn what
he also puts a device in between her legs that was meant to continuously shock her. But fortunately for Colleen, it was defective. The abuse and capture of Colleen would continue for the next 7 years.
I am going
7?
to.
She survived 7 years. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to grab another bottle. 7 of them. Lindsay.
So most days she would be kept in the box until sometime after 8 p.m. Then Cameron would let her out, let her eat just a little bit, drink a glass of water, and use the actual toilet instead of her bedpan. And it would be a few months before she was able to get a bath. A few months.
Oh.
After she's pissing and shitting in a bedpan in this coffin,
And
basically.
he's doing God knows what to her.
This
Wait,
whole
yeah.
time.
Yeah,
The
I'm
whole
about
time.
to explain all of that. She would lose 22 pounds within her first month.
Yeah.
And there was one time, and I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but if you go through long periods without eating, like when you're in a breakup or a stressful situation and you don't eat a lot, sometimes your bowels will just
Turn loose.
turn loose. Yeah. Well, she was hanging from the ceiling and she felt that sensation coming on and she was gagged, but she started making a lot of noise to try to get Cameron's attention. And instead of just letting her go to the bathroom, he whipped her into unconsciousness.
Did it turn loose then?
Probably.
Hopefully they were underneath of him.
Sure.
It had to have. I mean, it
how
has
could
to.
not?
Right. How could it not? And there was a torture rack that Cameron had also built, and he would strap her to it while he would build.
This motherfucker over here, man.
He would build more shit, so she just had to lay there naked while he was building shit in this basement. Okay, And then he would abuse her when he felt like it.
So
So
excited.
the whole time.
So happy just to be building
She
this
has
shit.
to sit there
you know?
and
You had to watch
build
him
her
build-
torture
Yeah.
device.
Yeah.
And he's over here all grinning and fucking, I'm going to do my shit and I'm going to fuck you up with
Right.
it. Oh, man. That's where my mind goes too. I'm like, in my fucking living room, there's this dude and I'm tied up over here.
Well,
he's over
okay,
here
I
just
want
spoon-
to. It was actually more
in his fucking
the
whitey
space
tighties
of like
fucking,
right here.
Yeah, but
That all
that
this was going on.
mental mess
That's
of
what gets
watching
me.
him do this will mess with you more
The
than any
Anything.
physical.
Just you have to
Oh,
get
yeah.
inside your own mind.
God.
Yeah.
And you know who knows what she's already endured, which I'm sure
Yeah.
you're going
Oh,
to
yeah, I'm about
into,
to- yeah.
So, yeah, proceed.
So he built a workroom just under the stairs and finally gave her a nightgown to wear. And her first project in the workroom was to shell walnuts. And then he would have her crochet and macrame things. And he and Janice would go sell this shit at a flea market.
Wow.
Like all her items that she made. Yeah.
Puts a whole other meaning to child labor laws.
Right.
Seriously.
And when she wasn't working, she was being tortured, sexually abused. He would stretch her, burn her, all while she was being gagged and blindfolded.
What?
Stretching her. Could you that's like medieval shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's beyond that. Eventually that comes to an end within like a couple of days, a week at the most. This is years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
so we're gonna go through the whole timeline. So about 8 months into Colleen's capture, Cameron had this idea that he had gotten from one of his underground magazines, and it was a slavery contract. He rents a typewriter and has Janice type it up. He goes down to the basement to have Colleen sign it. And this contract would say that she is no longer Colleen. Her name is now Kay. And she belonged to him. She would call him sir or master, and Janice would be ma'am. That she would never cross her legs, she would not wear underwear, and she had to kneel to ask any question, and she had to wear a collar and pretty much anything else he wanted. He tells her that she must sign this contract to keep her safe from the company, and tells her that the company is an underground organization that is basically what we know as human trafficking. That they trade females for lifelong slaves, and that he had been brought up in this company, and his father and brother were also members. He told her that if she ever tried to escape the company, they would find her. And if she told her family would be killed.
I am sitting here looking around at the faces right now. Because there's 3 of us now looking
I'm
at
just
Lindsay.
blown away.
I know.
Like,
We're
speechless.
horrified.
I'm speechless.
We're horrified.
my jaw is on the floor.
Lindsay
right
gets
now.
mad when I don't chime in.
No,
I
no,
swear
no.
to God.
I want y'all, yeah, because this is going to keep going. So Cameron tells her that Janice is also his slave. And when she had tried to escape, she told the police. And the police were also a part of the company.
I mean, basically,
and end up torturing her before Cameron saved her. But her knee was permanently messed up. And it just so happened that Janice wore a knee brace from a different issue. So terrified out of her fucking mind, Colleen signs this contract as Kay, and Cameron and Janice sign it as Michael and Janet Powers. That's their aliases.
not hookers, but powers. So
Yes.
they're hookers with power.
Hookers with power. Well, Cameron's middle name was Michael, so that's why he used that. And Powers was, of course,
Mike
the
Powers.
obvious.
Yeah, we love Austin Powers.
So he even made, this guy is extra as fuck. He did the whole contract in stenciled letters, and he made her an ID card that was like laminated and
Like,
everything.
it looks like a fucking legally binding
He made a
contract.
seal and everything. Like, he went above and beyond to brainwash Colleen.
Cindy, we're going to get this notarized or what?
I have a notary.
Our notary
I know,
over
that's why
here.
I said that.
So, I mean, it all seemed very legit and very terrifying to Colleen. So Cameron would also make her do drills per the contract. And when he would say, attention, she had a certain amount of time to become completely naked and be in whatever position he wanted her to be in. Yeah.
Wow.
And the contract, now that she signed the contract, this would allow Colleen to become a maid and a babysitter for the couple. She would cook and clean for them, watch the kids from time to time, and she would be allowed to work in the garden as well. So, I mean, of course, this is better than sleeping in a box. So she's all for it.
Take that over that any day. Yeah. I'm kind of being quiet. I'm wanting to see if they'll chime in because I don't really.
I'm speechless.
I'm just so into it. Like, yeah.
Well, Janice,
Cindy, I'm speechless.
Yeah. So Janice, she starts seriously doubting that her husband is living up to his part of the deal, which is no penetrative sex with Colleen. So she decided to test him. She said, "Go get Colleen and we'll all have a threesome." So he went and got Colleen, brought her to the couple's bedroom. He starts kissing and touching them both. And then he began intercourse with Colleen first.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
This made Janice sick as fuck. And Colleen would actually later on say that she could hear Janice like vomiting while she was being raped.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well,
But
Colleen.
it was okay for everything else.
Right.
Like-
right. It was
like, all
okay
that was
for him to
fine.
beat her and do whatever he wanted with her and keep her in a box. But sex, for the love of God, well, that was crossing the line.
What's crazy to me is that she would actually believe that he wouldn't penetrate. And,
Right.
you know, you're doing all these other horrific things.
But see, that was the sacred thing
like,
that
come
she
on.
had gave him.
But y'all got to understand, Janice is actually younger than Colleen at this time. She's like a year younger than Colleen.
Oh shit! I didn't even think
Yeah.
about it that way.
Yeah.
But I mean, it makes
So
sense.
she's and
it
that's
makes
like
sense that, you know,
honestly all she knew about being in a relationship was what this guy Cameron brought to the table.
That's it. So
Yeah.
she had gave that's like I said, that sacredness to him and only him. It was supposed to be something special.
Between the two of them.
And how special fucking was it?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Well, most of the time after the contract was signed, she was able to stay in the workroom instead of the box.
And that's all she really had to hang on to was what she gave him, like, you know, the virginity, like her life and livelihood and everything. And I would have ran a long time ago. You know, I'd have got out as soon as I could. You know?
But she didn't
know any better.
She didn't know any better.
That was her whole life. He had groomed her for this life.
I see the
Yeah.
whole picture, but God, what a fucking shitty
Yeah, he
picture.
literally groomed a child. And not that he was much older. I mean, he was 19 and that's fucking crazy for a 19-year-old to be thinking this way.
Right.
But
I
he was
guess my-
in his 20s at
my
this
thought
time.
process is just like, yes, that is a very special thing to give somebody your virginity and all, but she should have been told that that's what dudes want and that's all they want anyhow. You know.
Well,
and
what I forgot to put in my notes was Cameron told Janice that his previous girlfriends agreed to all this. So she felt like
She had to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
To keep him.
Right. So after, like I said, after she had signed the contract, she was able to stay in the workroom instead of the box. But there was a time period where no one came down to let her out or feed her for about 3 days. And during these 3 days, she heard a lot of noise coming from upstairs. Then all of a sudden, Cameron comes down, puts the head box back on her, and takes her outside to the car and makes her lay down in Janice's lap while they drive. They were moving to a new home, a single wide in a more secluded neighborhood. Because this place he was buying, like, in the previous house they were renting, and the landlords could drop in any time and just bust up his whole ordeal he had going on.
Definitely.
yeah.
Well, in this house, he had a custom-built waterbed that sat on top of a box with a small entryway. This was her new spot to be kept.
Under their bed.
Under their water
the
bed. Yeah.
My mom actually had one of those water beds with
My-
the doors that would open. And
My parents had one too.
We
and
knew
it was
every
storage.
year that's where
Yep.
Christmas presents were.
Oh my God, I think that's where my parents stored. Oh my God.
We were going to know where they
Well,
hid it.
Cameron and Janice were storing a human.
Yeah.
A human Christmas present.
Right.
Lasted all year. God.
Jeez, that's horrible.
So she continues to abide by the contract, and Cameron lets her have more and more freedoms. So we're about 3 years into her capture now. Cameron and Janice have another child. They've got 2 girls. They're both girls. And he convinces Janice to have a home birth on the waterbed that Colleen is underneath.
Locked in under. Oh.
Yeah. So Cameron would allow Colleen to work in the garden. She's still doing chores in the house, taking care of the kids because Janice had to go get a job. But this was a night job. So Cameron was still at home, and he uses this time, after the kids are asleep, of course, to rape and sodomize Colleen.
Oh, it's free range now. He can do whatever
Yes, because Janice she's working at like a little ice cream place, like a Tasty Freeze type place. It wasn't called that, but it was like that.
Yeah.
So he even allows her to go jogging, but he's following close behind in the car. And she's now allowed to sleep in the bathroom instead of the box, but she's chained to the toilet. One time she was seen in this position by the older girl and was beaten for not locking the door. Yeah.
Lindsay.
So you know how a single white is set up, and you know how the back bathroom is usually at the other end. Like the master bathroom's in that one bedroom on one end, and then the other bathroom's at the other end.
Yeah.
And that's where his girls' rooms were. So they were probably just going to go pee.
Right.
And because Colleen didn't lock the door, she got beat.
3 of us are puddled over here at this moment. We just are in shock of the sheer horror.
Shock is not the word. Like, if you guys can see my face, my jaw is literally.
I know, they're all looking at me like jaws just dropped.
Y'all have both listened to us. But now just being in this. Oh.
I love it though. I feel like I'm telling a terrifying. I feel like a teacher telling the story in class.
Yeah,
but
and we
terrible.
feel like we're underneath of a waterbed right now, Lindsay. Thank you.
Maybe not that bad, but yeah, pretty close.
So now this part, this blew my mind a little bit. So Janice and Colleen were actually permitted to go to a bar, go out dancing one night, and have drinks, and they hung out with 2 other guys. Apparently, Cameron was allowing Janice to see other people. This was, like I said, this was 3 years into the capture. Janice wanted Cameron to be as jealous as she was about Colleen, but he really didn't care. And in the audiobook that I listened to, it's called The Perfect Victim. Janice slept with this other guy, but Colleen did not sleep with her little dude that she got paired off with because she was terrified about the company and that whole situation. And because Cameron was constantly plugging that in her ear. He had now told her that phone lines were tapped. There were surveillance cameras watching, and there were members of the company that lived in their new neighborhood. So she thought that everybody was part of this shit.
Oh my gosh, this poor girl.
The fear, the amount of fear.
The propaganda that was just poured on you in the 70s.
The fear that she was living in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no hope at all. Like,
none.
This is my life.
And I mean, honestly, okay, so at 20 years old, I had already had 2 children, but I still would have believed that. I would have still, if I had been kidnapped at 20 years old, even going through most of school, I made it to 11th grade, and then I got my GED. I went through most of school. I had 2 children, and I would have still believed that if somebody kidnapped me at 20 years old.
Yeah.
I would 100% believe it.
Absolutely.
It wouldn't take much to
young
convince
and
you.
naive
Yeah.
at that
Right.
age. Like,
Especially after they beat you, torture you, sexually assault you, deprive you of food, water, and then confine
and
you.
I can even see that at the shoe being on the other foot. Like if there was a chick that controlling over me where I felt like, she was my world and I had no way to get out of it and that was just life, I would probably believe
that reminds me
go along with it.
People I know, but we won't say their names on the pod.
The tea that will happen afterwards.
Right. So he would also tell her that the treatment that he was giving her, like the bondage, the whipping, the torture, this wasn't his idea. This was orders from the company. He would also pierce her labia as another form of identification for the company. So not only does she have to wear a collar, now she's been tagged. She's been tagged, right. So during what, go ahead.
The whole thing of like in Handmaid's Tale where they do their ear.
Yes.
Like a whole other.
Yes, that is exactly what I thought about. Yeah. So during the year of what she calls her year out, Colleen convinced Cameron to let her write letters to her family. He said he had to get it approved by the company first, but she does start.
How you lean in?
Yeah.
The company.
The company. Because it's bullshit. That's why. So, yeah. But she does start sending out letters, but she's very careful about what she says. Because Cameron, he's reading them before he sends them out.
Of course.
Yeah. And she tells her family that she is staying with a family up north as their nanny.
Did he actually send them out?
Oh, yeah, he did.
He did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Because he monitored what she said first.
Okay.
So she also said that she was learning to garden and to how to can fruit, and she sends recipes. Then Cameron allows Colleen to call her family.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then he agrees to let her visit her family.
And she's just that brainwashed where she won't spill the beans.
Exactly.
Right. I'm going to get into that. But they had to stop at the company headquarters first. And before the family visit, Janice and Colleen, they were fighting all the time as two, these are young women in their
teenage
20s.
Girls.
Pretty much, yeah. They're still teenage mindset completely. And one would complain about the other to Cameron, and this pissed him off, and he had had enough. He took them both out to the woods to punish them. He made Janice quit her job so that Colleen would no longer have to care for the children. And I guess that was one thing that the women were arguing about was the children, because Colleen got very close to these kids. And then Janice wouldn't be there at night. Colleen was taking care of them at night. She was doing their nighttime routine. So when Janice would have her days off,
yeah, there's a connection.
She would do something different. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
What did he do for a living? How
he was a mill worker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He had done that since like early on. Yeah. And that's what he was doing when he met Janice, when he was 19 and she was 15. And now they're in their 20s, both of them.
This is Zay. Can you imagine working with somebody and not even knowing?
Not even knowing.
How's this going
At
on?
There
all.
you go. There you go. And it does happen. You know?
Does.
Oh,
And and honestly, he looks like a version of Jeffrey Dahmer. Like he's got the glass, he's got that whole 70s look. Yeah.
That 70s psycho
Yes.
serial killer
Exactly.
vibe.
Unbeknownst to Colleen, her visit to her family would be the last bit of freedom that she would have for a while. Cameron told Colleen that she would need to pass some obedience tests, I did quotations, before he could get permission from the company. One of these tests would be to put her mouth around the barrel of a gun and pull the trigger.
No way.
And it was not loaded, but imagine the
horror.
Yeah.
the horror.
The horror. Like, what if it was loaded?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I know.
And you're gone. You're completely
in her head. Like, what if it's loaded?
Absolutely not.
So Colleen gathers a few things to take with her. And by the way, the company headquarters was just some office building that Cameron made her think was real. And on the way to visit her family, he made sure that she got her story straight. That Cameron was her boyfriend, Mike Powers, and they were engaged, and he was going to do some computer training in San Diego while she had her visit. And they were moving, so she couldn't give them an address just yet. So she gets to her family house, and they're catching up. And she's keeping her story, and her family just honestly believes that she's in some kind of cult because they were everywhere at the time. Everywhere. That was Jim Jones.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, it was that time.
so many cults.
It seems like that is like the staple of the 70s.
Staple. Serial killers and cults.
100%.
Yes. But they noticed that she was pale and looked underweight and just broken down. And around 24 hours later, she was supposed to be able to stay for 2 days. Mike called and said, it's time to go.
24 hours to go. I want a piece of data. I'm sorry. I'm glad that they're chiming in now because I can drink more.
But Colleen, she did what she was told. I cannot explain how she was completely brainwashed that this company was
totally
real.
She had it out too.
Yeah.
And she just was like, okay,
She had an out.
time to go home.
Yep. She feared that the company was going to kill her family because of what Cameron. Yep.
I told her.
And I'm sure, I'm keeping this as lighthearted as I can, but he was probably constantly plugging this into her ear every single day.
Oh, I guarantee.
More than once.
Absolutely.
So Mike, aka Cameron, he was introduced to the family. They insisted on taking a picture of him and Colleen together. And that picture is out there on the internet, and we're going to post that in our stories. And they look just like a happy couple.
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
It's wild.
That's what really gets me whenever she starts plugging in all the other bullshit, and then you got a face with it. And sometimes she does that in the middle of the podcast.
Do you want to see it?
Oh,
yes.
God.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I do want to see.
Let's pull this up for my audience, my in-home audience real quick.
Yeah, I think before this is all over with, though, Lindsay, this is just going to be girl talk, and I can just hang out and drink.
There's Cameron and there's Colleen. That's the picture that they took.
Oh, look at this dude.
And her family home.
Happy.
Oh, yeah. He's so Jeffrey.
Look how she's smiling. He does look like Jeffrey Dahmer.
I told you, yes. And what's wild is in our last case with the Ken and Barbie, they used Halcyon, and that's also what Jeffrey Dahmer used.
Oh.
Yeah, but we're going to cover that at a later date.
Yeah, because I remember him putting the rag over their
They leave Colleen's family, and when they got home, she was placed back in the box. But not before Cameron raping her first.
Oh, God.
Of course.
So this was 1981.
There was some buggery going on now.
Like I said, this was 1981, and other than to eat, occasionally bathe, and use the bathroom, she was not let out of the box again until 1984.
What? Oh. Lindsay.
1984.
Years in this box again.
Imagine how much she probably shrunk.
In your
those
head.
years.
You're just in your head. Because she's literally in a box, padded, and she only gets let out to eat. Oh my God. I had to take so many deep breaths while writing this, just thinking about the confinement of that. That's worse than prison. That's worse than jail. Okay. So New Year's Eve,
I'm trying to think of what music video had the dude in the box.
I don't know. I was trying to think of that as well.
Yeah, I think it was.
Was it a
remember
Tool?
that.
I wonder if that was a reference to that, because I think it was a Tool
It was
music
like back
video.
in the 90s, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can picture what you're saying, but I can't place exactly the artist that it was in. Yeah.
There's some DNA right there for that came back full circle. Like
right.
she had something to do with it.
Yeah, like I'm literally picturing the music video, but I don't know who it belonged to.
Oh.
So New Year's Eve, 1983 was Colleen's birthday. Her 27th birthday. She got captured when she was 20. And it had never been celebrated during her capture. So when the hookers got her out of the box that night and sang happy birthday to her and gave her a cake, she was quite shocked.
Could you imagine actually having appreciation after getting out of a box and somebody singing happy birthday?
I didn't put this in my notes, but there was a point in this where she actually told Cameron that she loved him. And she had complete Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And she genuinely felt that. That's what's
because that's all she knew. And it wasn't like a love, like, oh my God, I love you. It was, I love you. Thank you for letting me out of this fucking box. You know? So Kay, which was Colleen, was reintroduced to the girls, their kids, to the neighbors. And now she was allowed to sleep in the living room in her sleeping bag that she had packed to take on her trip with her 7 years prior. At this time, Janice and Colleen, they actually became friends, mostly reading and talking about the Bible together.
Get out of here.
Swear.
Really, yeah.
So they found out how much they had in common, like getting married and dropping out of school at a very young age. And for some reason, 7 years later, the guilt of having Colleen as a slave, it caught up with Janice. Like, she had been disassociating this whole fucking time. And now that she is she woke 26
up,
years old.
Oh, this is messed up.
Right.
Wow.
There's your turning point. I like to look for that.
I'm getting excited. It's
right.
Like we're,
here we go.
Getting to a good part.
Yeah.
So Cameron made sure Colleen put on some weight and started looking presentable because he wanted her to get a job and contribute to the family. He told her that it was to pay the company fees, and he eventually wanted to marry her, like take her on as a second wife, and get her own trailer on their property. So Janice took Colleen out job hunting and figured a motel maid would be the best fit for her. They stopped in at the King's Lodge. Colleen asked if they were hiring, and she was hired on the spot by Doris Myron. And in June of 1984, Kay asked if she could go to church. And she was permitted to go on the church bus with the girls. Then after that, Janice started going with them as well. So Cameron, he used this to his advantage because in the Old Testament, Abraham and Sarah could not have children. So Sarah permitted Abraham to marry and sleep with their slave,
Enter the
Hagar.
Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
Handmaid's Tale, exactly. And you know, what did I tell you? Just like in the Handmaid's Tale, where they have them sit on top of
Do
the
ritual.
wife.
The ceremony.
That is exactly what Hagar did with, or Hagar, I don't know, it's spelled Hager. That's what Hagar did with Sarah. She sat on Sarah's lap while she gave birth to Abraham's baby. Yeah. So he made it seem like their whole arrangement was biblical and quite, in the eyes of the Lord. This was the Lord's work.
Well, yeah, he had to spin it that way.
Exactly.
Because,
Of course. Yeah.
So Janice, she decides to talk to the pastor about this, but under vague terms. But Janice soon realized that Cameron was using the Bible to his own advantage. Now, Cameron tells her that he wants more slaves. And this made Janice physically ill. And she did not know what to do because she was guilty as well. And because she had went along with Colleen's slavery for 7 years.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to lose her kids. So she tells Cameron, I can't do this anymore. Please kill me. Because she knew that he was capable. But he wouldn't go through with it. One day in August 1984, she decides just to pop in Colleen's job and tell her it's all a lie. The company is bullshit. The contract is bullshit.
What?
Yeah.
She finally spilled the beans.
Oh.
Yay.
And Colleen is absolutely
Go
shocked.
Janice.
Yes. She's shocked and angry. And she cried. Janice cried and apologized. Then they both decide to go to the pastor and tell him a lot, but not quite everything. Because this is still a pastor.
I went to a pastor. I went to a police station.
Right.
Seriously.
Like,
Straight to the police station.
Well, right now she's hung on the religion part of it to try to rewrite.
They're still both very afraid of Cameron.
She's leaning on that for her righteousness or for her redemption. She's leaning on that, you know.
So the pastor's like, hey, y'all gotta leave. Y'all need to go.
It's too much.
He said, y'all gotta go. Y'all gotta go right now. But they knew Cameron was about to be home soon because it was getting close to 4:00. That was his quitting time. So they waited until the next morning. Cameron left for work. The girls went to Bible school and they started packing. They picked up the girls and they went to Janice's parents' house. Now, Janice wanted the two of them to get a place together, but Colleen was like, girl, I gotta go home. I gotta go home.
So she still wanted to keep a friendship over a slave that they've had for 7 years.
Colleen called her father to wire her the money for a bus ticket, and she set out for Southern California. She did call Cameron, though, and she told him, she's like, I know you're a liar, and I'm leaving. I'm gone. And this fucker actually fucking broke down and cried on the phone.
He lost his
You
power.
gotta be kidding me.
No, he lost his
Well, he
power.
knew he was going to jail.
I was about to say he lost control. So
Yeah.
he didn't know what to do.
Not only of his wife, of the girl he kidnapped, but of his wife and
Yeah,
his children.
everything. He's lost
All
his
of it.
power.
It's
fell
gone.
apart at once.
Yeah.
So she actually stayed in touch with both Cameron and Janice several times, and they begged her not to go to the police for the sake of the children. And Colleen promised that she wouldn't. She loved those kids and didn't want to jeopardize their well-being. Well, Janice, she brings you back up, and then she'll bring you back down. She was like, well, maybe I can fix him. And she went back.
What?
Now, he promised her he would change and he would stop all the bondage. He even started going to church, and they got counseling from the pastor. The changes in Cameron didn't last long, though. And then Janice encouraged him to, okay, let's burn everything. Let's burn the pornos. Let's burn the bondage equipment, the pictures that you have, the slavery contract.
She was wanting to do a cleanse.
Yes, but there was still a copy of that slavery contract. Remember that. So Kay Powers, That's who Colleen had become. She struggled to regain her identity as Colleen Stan. But she stayed with her father and became a maid at a hospital. She told her family everything, and they begged her to go to the police, but she wanted to just forget about it and move on. But she was still writing letters to Cameron and Janice. Like, they had that much of a hold on her.
Oh my gosh.
It's terrible.
I couldn't imagine.
Stockholm.
No.
Stockholm,
Yeah.
110%.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was her entire life.
No other way of life.
Yeah,
other
7
than
years
that.
is a long ass
7
time.
years.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a long relationship. That's a long everything.
Yeah.
So Janice was continuously struggling with her reunification with Cameron and finally left him for good. Janice goes for a doctor appointment and ends up befriending a lady that worked in the office named Connie. She tells this woman, like, she was just trying to find somebody to spill all this to. She wasn't comfortable telling her parents about it because they didn't really like her that much anyway.
Yeah, she was carrying the weight,
Yeah.
So she tells this woman the truth about Colleen and Cameron and how terrified of Cameron that she was. So Connie encouraged her to go to the police, and Janice was hesitant at first. And then Connie says, well, what if he does something to your girls? And it was like something just broke through at that moment. If anybody had said that to her beforehand, this probably would have been over a lot sooner. But nobody did because they didn't know.
I was sitting here wondering the whole time, like, how could she not be concerned for her children?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
So she goes back to the pastor and tells him the whole truth this time. And the pastor calls the police. Now, Cameron, he was arrested and Janice was granted full immunity for her testimony. Cameron's attorney tried to argue that Janice and Colleen both had willingly participated in this threesome and it was just a BDSM lifestyle.
So she walked.
Yeah, she does. And not a capture of an innocent woman who had been held captive for 7 fucking years in a box, pretty much under their bed for most of it. Now, the media, they went absolutely wild over this shit. The prosecution actually presented the boxes, and I have pictures of those.
Ooh, I want to see these.
And the contract, so Cameron, like Ian Brady, he had created a dark room and was taking pictures and developing them himself. So he didn't have to send them off because, you know, back in the day, we had to send our film off to get developed. Yeah.
Yep.
So they found a negative of the contract. He had actually took a picture of it. So that's how that was brought into the equation. Yeah.
Well, good.
Then Janice throws another spoke into the wheel. Murder. Before they had kidnapped Colleen on January 31st, 1976, Cameron had kidnapped a 19-year-old named Marie Elizabeth Spanhaki from Chico, California. Cameron had tortured her for 24 hours, then shot her with a pellet gun, strangled her.
A fucking pellet gun, Lindsay?
Pellet gun. Well, he shot her in the stomach with that. Then he strangled her, wrapped her body in blankets, and they buried him and Janice, buried her near Lawson Volcanic National Park.
And she's walked still.
No remains were found. But Colleen knew that this was true because that girl's picture was in her box the whole 7 years.
And she had been missing too, I guarantee it. Yeah.
Wow.
And still walked, right, Sin?
Oh my
But
God.
Still walked.
because unfortunately her remains were never found, so they never could charge him with actual murder. Just for the bondage, the rape, and the
She's
capture.
pissed over it. Cindy's pissed like I am.
The girl was terrified, beyond terrified for 7 years. She looked at a picture of a girl who she knew had been murdered by this.
Yeah, had her locked in right then, right?
Oh my gosh.
Well, a forensic psychologist and criminal profiler named Chris Hatcher testified step by step of how someone can break another human into complete slavery and how a person would develop Stockholm Syndrome. Yeah. And after Janice and Colleen both testified against Cameron, he was sentenced to 104 consecutive years for kidnapping, sexual assault, using a knife, and imprisonment. Now, he was eligible for an elderly parole program, But he was released on parole to the Department of State Hospitals in 2021. So he's still imprisoned, but it's like an
Light
elderly
security.
Mental institution or something.
Now, unfortunately, Colleen had a string of failed marriages and one troubled child who spent time in jail. But she does do volunteer work for the Reading Women's Refuge Center, which helps abused women. And she got her degree in accounting as well. I forgot to put that in my notes, but I remember that. Yeah. Janice, she became a social worker and has worked as a mental health professional. I don't know how I feel about Janice.
Interesting.
I don't know how. I know she was a child as well, but it's wild. It's wild.
Well, she played her role in it. She should have seen some sort of consequence.
Yeah,
I agree.
That was that.
Going
Yeah, she
along
changed
with
her
that.
name and
Y'all are
everything.
like me. You're like, dude, you got to
And you
spend
know,
time. You got to give back to society. You do not belong in it, you know?
Right. Well, my
I'm
thing
glad
is,
y'all are
too,
like me like that.
did their kids ever find out about this? You know, and I couldn't find anything on that. And the judge, actually, he would call Cameron one of the worst psychopaths that he had ever tried.
Well, I imagine.
Period.
I'm
Yeah.
just thinking about the lawyer that defended him. Like,
Right. And he was like, I listened to the audiobook. It's called The Perfect Victim. And it was written by the prosecution that was, stood in for Janice and Colleen at that time. It was written by her and another woman named Carla Norton. And it gives a lot more information about the trial, which is, it was quite long. Cameron's defense attorney was hard up. He was trying so hard to make these girls have a bad reputation. But I'm glad that the jury and the judge didn't see it that way. So there is a movie called Girl in the Box on Prime. And then, like I said, the audio book, The Perfect Victim. And then there's another book. I do not know the name of it. I forgot to look it up, but it's written by Colleen Stan, and it goes into her whole
I imagine
experience.
that's what we're going to watch here in a little bit.
Yep.
So is that the whole story?
That's the whole story.
Oh my goodness, Lindsay.
What
This
a roller
was
coaster
rough.
ride.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
It's so much. It's so much. And like
that
I
was
said,
a lot to take in.
I'm just going to, slip one in right here because you've puddled 3. And thank you for joining us, everybody.
Absolutely. It was fun.
I'd like to say it was fun, but it was
It's not
horrifying.
horribly fun, isn't it?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to my world. Yes. Thank you for the story.
Like last
most
week,
of our
like, he was
listeners are in
like-
California.
they are.
Yeah, that's our biggest
Okay.
following. So thank you, California. We
So
love you.
if you're in the Red Bluff area, that one's for you guys.
yeah. I wanna play music.
What band are we plugging today?
Doc Moccasin.
Dot Moccasin.
Yeah, check them out. Mm-hmm. I have a buddy that I go to powwows with, Cody,
Okay.
and really cool cat. Always has this
It's
really
spelled that way, or did you just spell Cody
Yeah,
wrong?
That's it. And,
Oh, okay.
He always wears his top hat. Really
It's
cool
spelled like
cat.
code.
Plays the shit out of the guitar. Oh man! So he finally got his band together, and they came to Olusty, and they won first place here
Shit, this
for our
year?
little
Oh,
festival
how
this year
sweet.
in the Battle of the Band. So
Nice.
I want to plug them.
The first Olusty that we haven't been to.
we didn't go to. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of the same cliche for us to live in Lake City.
I
so.
didn't go this year either.
Because the last few years it's just been wah wah. So yeah.
Well,
We don't really need to play
And it feels
reenactment anymore. I don't.
smaller than
I
I've
what it
mean,
been
used to be.
once.
history is cool, but like reenactment part, all that's just
The
to me.
food trucks are the highlight.
They are.
That's what we go for now. Yeah, you're old when
And
you
I
go
always
straight to
go to
food
the
trucks.
Mexico China and get birria tacos.
And you
yeah.
have to take your
Yeah.
kid ones. You know,
Oh yeah,
so
I
your
was like
kid
silent.
can
All
see
of my
it,
boys
but-
have been multiple
I always
times.
have to
So
get
yeah.
the fresh squeezed lemonade.
Yes.
Yes, it's.
Back
I mean,
in the
still
day,
fun.
they used to have that homemade
I
root
don't-
beer and beef jerky, like in the same booth.
Yeah.
That was my spot.
I don't know
But-
about anybody. I've got some kick-ass homemade burrito tacos. That
Okay, I made
think
some a couple weeks
anybody-
ago, but
that I don't think
I'm-
anybody can top because the person who makes
Uh-oh.
them.
Challenge. Yeah.
Amazing.
Are we gonna have a burrito?
We just
taco
did-
cook-off?
We might.
Yes.
We just
might.
did some not long ago, and the Lindsay's were fire. But I
Yeah,
think
she
Cindy
does them
can
with
rock
like
some food too.
No,
now.
it's not me that does them. It's Vicky does them.
Oh,
and
Vicky
they're
does
like
them,
with
okay.
like.
Oh, I know Vicky can cook.
Oh
so
yeah,
I would
and
eat
it's
the
with
hell out
a
of them.
brisket. She does it with a beef.
We love brisket tacos.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Lindsay
So
has
good.
made brisket tacos. And
Yes,
they're so
I'm
good.
part of that one.
fucking amazing.
But thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you like our stuff, check us out. Drinkaboutsomething.site and
Follow us on Instagram.
I wanna play some
Send
Doc
us a
Moccasin.
Gmail.
these guys are on fire. They got some new music out, and so I'm gonna fire this thing off. This song's called Bones. So
Yes,
check
Bones.
this stuff out.
I've been running for a long time coming. What have I got to lose? Run for something. It's all or nothing. Come on and make a move. No, don't waste my time. No. I got it all on the line. Take me down. I can't be alone. I got fire in my bones, reaching my soul. Roll away the storm. I got fire in my bones. I've been searching to end this hurting. I got a need of a different kind. The way you're moving, there's no fooling. What you have is hard to find. No, don't waste my time. No, I got it all on the line. Take me down. I can't be alone. I got fire in my bones, reaching my soul. Roll away the storm. I got fire in my bones.
What do y'all think about that? Wasn't that hot?
I like it.
Yeah.
It's like I was saying, you guys know I love Jimi Hendrix, and it's giving off Jimi Hendrix vibes for me.
Yeah.
With a little bit of Lenny in
Yeah,
there.
With some Lenny
Yes.
Kravitz. Yes, absolutely.
agree.
Yeah, and it was like it had that old school Southern rock vibe, but it was new.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah,
new
exactly.
feeling
Like
to
a
an old school.
But it would have still
Yeah.
it would have still passed the Woodstock vibe 110%.
110%.
Yeah.
It-
Oh yeah.
And it fit the whole persona of everything. So, Cody, you, amazing. Thank you guys.
Yes.
Thank you, band.
Excited to share you guys.
Yeah,
When the pod
excited.
comes out.
I'll see you at a powwow sometime, bro. We're going to hang
Yes.
out. Yeah. And keep making music. I can't wait. I've listened to a little bit of some of your new stuff. I know this is the one you wanted to plug on this one. And we're going to hit you guys up next season for another song. We're going to play you some more. So, awesome stuff. Lindsay, you puddled us. You puddled three.
Yeah.
Three puddles.
Yeah.
It was kind of crazy looking at three faces going, with the
Yeah, the stuck
dropped.
face. Yeah. And we all have the same reaction. Yeah, that was really cool. We're
I've
human.
never been so speechless in my life.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
That one was rough.
Insane.
And I'm going to move on to something else next week. I'm done with couples.
Oh, yeah.
Done with couples.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think. I'm not sure. She's
Don't
like, no, the
thank
next
me
one's
just
worse.
yet.
The next one's way worse, fucker.
No, I'm actually going to talk about Marvin Gaye's story next.
Oh, wasn't that cool? And then we're
Yes.
going to be on to Rockville soon,
Yep.
too. I'm excited about that. So.
Yes, we got less than a month, and we're waiting on our tickets. They're shipped now.
Yeah.
They're coming in the mail.
Yeah, so if you're going to Rockville in Florida, come check us out. We'll be at the
We'll be in the Orange Lot.
Orange Lot. Yeah.
Yes. We'll have our flags flying.
Yeah. We'll have everybody
It's
on
our
the mic.
10-year anniversary for Rockville.
Yeah.
And we'll have our podcast flag as well.
We're ready. We're ready. And thank you, Cindy. Thank you, JoJo.
Yes,
Yeah, absolutely.
of course.
And
My pleasure.
I guess thank you, Lindsay, I guess, for cuddling us over here. So much. Thank you
And
so much.
thank you, Doc Moccasin. That was a
Yeah.
cool-ass song.
Cool
Yes.
band, cool stuff. We'll see you guys next Friday. Tune in.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.